welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today is a video I have promised to film for like the last 6 to 8 months, if not longer, and it will be titled To All the Planners I Have Loved Before. And the idea of this video is to talk to you about different planners that I've picked up for my functional planning, so not my memory planning, for my functional planning over the last 2 to 3 years, and to tell you why I dropped them. I am someone who really struggles to stick in a functional planner. I have still not found a perfect solution for me. In the main, I'm a digital planner now, and so I will talk a little bit at the end of this video about why I think that digital planning is probably the best option for me in terms of functional planning. But I thought it would be interesting to go through all the physical planners I've tried to give you an idea of what I did and didn't like about them and why I ultimately decided that they wouldn't remain in my stack. A couple of things to just bear in mind before we get started with this video. The first thing is that you should really only be swapping planners this often if you have the disposable income to do so. I do, the nature of my hobbies, I don't have kids, etc, etc. I do have the income to be able to buy planners, and then if I can't keep them working, then I can drop them. That doesn't necessarily mean it will be the case for you. The planner community is quite consumerist, so just make sure you really think about this before you buy planners, because they can be really expensive. So just make sure that you think about that before swapping to a different planner. If you can buy sort of old planners that are part used from kind of buy sell trade groups, etc, so you can get a feel for what the planner is like, then that can be a good way to test it out before you purchase one yourself. The flip side of that though is that if you are in a position where you can drop a planner, I am somebody who is a believer that if a planner doesn't serve me in that season of life, then I'm not going to force myself to keep using it. In fact, I literally can't force myself to keep using it. I will just drop it. It's almost like it doesn't exist anymore for me. So it's a really annoying personality habit, but it is the personality habit that I have. So that is something that I do need to bear in mind, that I won't force myself to keep using a planner. My personality just doesn't work that way. So I've got a pretty big range of planners to show you, all different types. So I'm hoping this video will be interesting. I'm also hoping that this video will kind of serve as a companion video to one that I filmed back in Vlogmas 2020, where I did a video for newbies to the planning community to talk through different options and sort of weighing up what would and wouldn't be a good planner for you. I'm hoping that talking through some of my examples in more detail in many ways since that video may help give you an idea of whether a planner would be a good fit for you or not. The other thing to say here is that these planners won't be in the order that I use them because I don't remember that. So I'm just going to kind of go through in categories. So first up we have bullet journaling. This is a Scribbles That Matter B6 journal. I really wanted to get into bullet journaling. I am a big fan of several bullet journal YouTubers, particularly Jashi Corinne and Amanda Rachel Lee and Cindy Guntrabaldo, and I binged their videos. This is another thing about me getting into new planners. I feel very researched going into it. I watch hours and hours of content to prepare me for buying a planner, and still after a few weeks I drop it. But anyway, yeah, this is a Scribbles That Matter B6 bullet journal. This was March last year that I was getting into bullet journaling, and I thought that bullet journaling would be a good option for me because I really wanted something that was a different type of creative to my memory planner. So something that has come up for me, and we'll talk about it more when I get to the functional planners that use stickers, is that I didn't actually like stickering 2 spreads a week. It really put me off doing my memory planner because I was sort of getting my sticker fix from my functional planner. So I thought that going pen and mild liner only would be a really good option for me. However, the issue for me with bullet journaling is that there is so much creative freedom, and I'm ultimately not a very creative person. I really wish I was, but I can't really draw. Not that you need to be able to draw, and I love minimalist Bujo so much, but the total freedom of not having anything on the page every week meant that if I wasn't organized enough to set up my week, then I didn't have anything written down. So I needed something with more structure, more lines. I needed something pre-built for me effectively. So this is in some ways the one I'm most sad about that I couldn't get into, because I love Bujo spreads. I love the flexibility that Bujos offer, but unfortunately it just wasn't for me. In terms of this particular Bujo notebook, so this is a B6, so it's a bigger size than A5, which I thought would be good for me. It's massive, and maybe it was too big, but I've always thought that A5 was too small for me. So I did go for a B6. The Scribbles That Matter paper is also so thick, and at the time I really thought that would work for me. It's bright white paper. On reflection, selection. It maybe is too thick, I don't know. But anyway, I'll show you an example spread. I'm not going to be able to show example spreads for everything necessarily because of work content, because this is my functional planner, but in the case of this one, it was actually possible for me to show you. I absolutely loved this theme, and the cover page that I did, if I just flip back a little bit for you. So this cover page, I got 2,500 likes on Instagram, which is so like mind-blowing, because mostly I get somewhere between like 20 to 80 likes on a post. So the fact that I got 2,500, this went completely viral. It really made me want to stick it out with Bujo, because this didn't take me that long. I mean, it looks stunning. I think it's like the prettiest thing I've ever done. But it didn't take me that long. And so I thought maybe I could stick with Bujing and it would really grow my Instagram content. But it's not something that I need to do. A lot of the reasons I end up picking planners is related to wanting to be in the kind of popular thing that's happening on Instagram at that time. And I have very much in 2022 come to the realization that my Instagram is not going to go that quickly. I have stayed at the point that I'm at with my Instagram followers for a pretty long time. I think I maybe have peaked on the sort of amount, or at least the rate I'm going to grow. And part of that is because I haven't posted a single memory planner spread this year, as an example. So it might be just that the people that follow me, I'm not posting the content that they want to see. And so that's probably what's stunting my growth, because some of my friends who post really consistently of what they're doing, so I'll use Natalie from Raw Plans as an example, who has a passion planner. She is super consistent on social media, really keeps up with trends and reels and stuff like that. And her Instagram following has grown massively because she's posting what she's known for. And I'm now posting like book content on a planning Instagram. So there is some work that I need to do on my social media, but I've kind of reached a point where I'm so far away from being monetized on YouTube and stuff like that, that I'm not necessarily focusing on producing content that's going to grow my following. I'm producing content that I want to post, and if people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. And that's very much the attitude that we've reached in 2022. But anyway, I wanted to keep up bullet journaling for that reason. That's not a good enough reason to keep up something. I do think bullet journaling is the thing that I would be most likely to go back to if I was ever going to go back to something. I'm currently using a Hobonichi Cousin Avec, and with that, I kind of do some elements of bullet journaling. So I think bullet journaling is the thing I would go back to if I was ever going to try and go back to some form of true paper functional planning. Next, let's do, I think this is also called a B6, but the sizing is completely different. So maybe that Scribbles That Matter is not a B6. I've just remembered another planner I can add to this stack. Okay, so I've just moved it to my stack. So maybe that Scribbles That Matter is different to B6. I don't know, but I think this is B6 as well. But anyway, this is from Lights Planner Action, and I bought this in a D-stash from Karen Pringle, who owns the Plump Planner, which is why the cover says Karen rather than Kat, because I wanted to try it out. And Lights Planner Action planners are quite expensive. I really love their shop, but the stuff is handmade. It's completely fair what they're charging. But I wasn't 100% sure I would stick with it. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't kind of, you know, buying a new planner without trying it, and Karen was selling one that had like 52 weeks in it, so I thought that this would be a good option. I really like this planner in that it's so small and cute, and this would be a really good planner for like just throwing in a bag. I did worry that it would really bulk up once I started stickering it, because I was using this as a sticker planner, and so I did think that it would really bulk up if I did sticker planning every week, but I only did 3 weeks in here, so I can't really prove that or not. Another reason I wanted this planner is Anna from Plannerface had a planner this size for a while, and I adored her spreads in it. And to be honest, I love how this came out. Like, opening this up for this video, I was like, shall I go back? But this was one of those issues where having a sticker planner that I was stickering as well as my memory planner just meant I didn't really do my memory planner. And it's really hard with a sticker planner. Like, how do you know exactly what you're going to do each day? It would have been more useful to have a checklist each day, but then sometimes you don't need a checklist that day. Sometimes you need more. So I'd never really figured it out, but looking at this now, I'm so tempted to go back, even though I know I shouldn't. I also have a lot of extra stickers, so I keep extras from mysteries and stuff, which is what I would use in here now if I ever was going to go back, because what I had been doing was I'd been using kits. This was a kit that I had from Plannerface from Oops Bags that I hadn't ever used, and in a way, I'm kind of gutted that I used it in here because I'd been saving this for ages, though I think it looks beautiful in a B6 spread, so I need to not be annoyed about it. But I would worry now, and there was another kit I used which I can't show you due to work stuff, but the spread I used after this, I don't have that kit again either. And so I worry about with new planners that use stickers, I waste sticker kits that I've been saving for so long, and then I've used them and it's a planner where there's only 3 spreads in here, so how often am I going to flick back to it? Whereas in a memory planner, I always flick back through them. So I don't know, it's a difficult one. I think now if I was going to do this, I would only use spares. So I save extras from Planner Phase and SPC Mysteries, and I would just use those in this. But I really do think it would bulk up. It is undated, so it would be really easy for me to just pick up again and use it in a running order. In fact, the year that I used this last year was the equivalent of like 2 weeks ago, so it wouldn't even be that weird if I picked it back up again. But I know that I don't need to right now in this place of life, but I do absolutely love this planner, and it's one that I really wish that I could have made work. So the next planner, which is also that B6 size, is a Pell Studio. So I was using this in, I think, 2020. And I had always lusted after a Pell Studio. A few people, particularly like J. Crew Plans, had Pell Studios, and I think they are gorgeous. And someone was selling it in a D-Stash Facebook group I'm in, and I just decided to go for it. Around the summer, like, I always want a new planner. It always happens. This year it's the Hobonichi. It happens every year around the summer holidays. I want a new planner. And I just decided, you know, it was time, and I really needed a new one. And when I saw this Pell Studio come up, I was like, right, it's time. I have the income that I could buy this now. I'm going to get it. I used it for 2 weeks and then stopped using it. And I think this is an example of, like, I spent too much money on this to have stopped using it, and I maybe should have tried to push myself a bit further. There's many things I love about this planner, so you can hopefully see, it's very difficult to tell what you can see in shop right now, but behind me are a lot of ring bound planners. And when I first got into the planner community in 2016, I was really big into ring planners, and I'm not going to talk about them in masses today, but I've used personals, I've used A5s, and I do have a collection of them. And so I was really lusting going back after rings because I love ring planners. I love how you can decorate them. Like in this, I've got these gorgeous pockets, this gorgeous vellum, and I love that element of customization. But ring planners are kind of annoying for me to write in. Like, for me to be able to write in it, it would have to constantly be lifting the inserts out, putting them back in, and I just didn't want to deal with that. These inserts that I was using were from Jessica Printables. It's something like that, but I know it isn't Jessica Printables, but I'm really sorry, I can't think of the name. But they're quite a popular printables shop. Jasenia Printables, there we go, Jasenia Printables. And it was like a week on multiple pages. And also this didn't work for me in terms of having to flick to Friday, Saturday. I love how the spreads came out though. I think it looks so cute. But yeah, unfortunately it just didn't work for me in terms of the same reason that the Lights Planner Action B6 didn't work really, though at least those was on one page. But yeah, unfortunately I did just 3 weeks in this and then dropped it. Oh, that bow has got really gross. Oh. That's grim. Okay, we'll throw that out. Everything else looks okay, I think, though. But yeah, it's a real shame because I think this planner is so gorgeous, and I do keep it for now. Like, it sits on my shelf, looking gorgeous with its spine. So I do love it, but it's a shame that I wasn't able to make it last for longer. Next up, we have the Passion Planner. So I was using this at the beginning of this year, I think. And I really wanted to use the Passion Planner because Natalie from Raw Plans, I'll mention her again, but she's such an inspiration in terms of the Passion Planner. So she was a big reason why I wanted to get one. But also, I've always loved the Passion Planner. I had one back in 2019, again, in the summer for a few weeks, and life kind of fell apart a bit then. So that planner got destroyed by choice. So that was sad times, but I wanted to try again. Me and my friend Emma both picked one up. She's using it as her memory planner. So she does a kind of hybrid functional and memory plan, and it's working really well for her. But unfortunately for me, because of having the memory planner that I have, and I don't want to give up my memory planner, stickering in this was not for me. Natalie also uses it as a functional memory hybrid, and so it's absolutely fine for her and for my friend Emma to do all the sort of cutting and trimming and stuff that you have to do to fit standard vertical size kits in a Passion Planner. I just did not have the patience to do it on top of all the spreads I needed to do for my memory planner. It was just too much for me. And so I only did 1 week and that was it. It's also a lot of space. So the Passion Planner that I have is the Passion Planner Medium, and it's really tall and really big. And it just felt like I wouldn't really be able to sort of make it work. I have considered going back to this and just doing pen only. And if I ever was going to go back to Passion Planner, that is what I would do. And because I have only used 1 week in this and it is undated, so I could pick it up whenever I wanted. I did label the monthlies, but I have like, I had this accident with Passion Planner where their warehouse sent me like so many copies of the tab, so I could just probably take these out and re-tab it if I wanted to. I really didn't use a lot of this planner, so it would be pretty easy, I think, for me to start again. I absolutely love this cover so much as well, so I do keep this planner because if I ever want to go back to it, I don't want to buy a new one. This one's undated. It would be super easy for me to pick it back up again, but it's just a lot of space, and I do think at some point I'm going to need more space in a planner, particularly when I have kids. But then also my boyfriend really struggles with me having a functional paper planner because for him it's much easier if it's in a digital format. So I don't know, we'll see. I am yet to figure out what is the perfect solution for me, but that's the Passion Planner. Next up we have the Mom Agenda, and this planner I got before or after the Passion Planner? Before, I think. And this one I really wanted to try off the recommendation of Cindy Guntrabaldo, who had been using this planner for a while. And there is a lot to like about this planner. I did a review video for this and for the Passion Planner on my channel, which you can check out. But there is a lot to be said for the Mom Agenda in the layout of it is really unique. So it is a weekly spread, but you have a sort of section for like your plans, and then you have a section for each of your kids. So I was using that for each of the people that I manage in my team to sort of write down their plans. I did use this for a few weeks, but I've ripped out all the spreads, so I can't show you. But I did use this for a few weeks and it worked pretty well. I'm not really sure. It's just one of those things that I just didn't stick at it. I think the size of it is pretty good in terms of carrying it around because it is an A5 size. I didn't like, and I talked about this in my review video, I didn't like, there's so much like extra stuff in the front. There's like loads of sort of phone numbers and stuff like that. It's a very American planner, so I didn't like that, so I ripped a lot of that out. And also it has all American holidays in here, and by all American holidays I mean like Grandparents' Day is in here. It is so unnecessary to have that many holidays listed in a planner, and it takes up so much of the square that I found that really irritating. And it does it in the weeklies as well, even though it's a lot less annoying in the weeklies. But yeah, so unfortunately, I just didn't make this one work for me. I do think that the style of this planner, particularly if I had kids, particularly a lot of kids, or if I was like writing down plans for like my boyfriend as well, would be really helpful in terms of writing out like a full schedule for everyone, putting in meal plans, stuff like that. I think this planner has a place. It's just probably not the right season of life for me. This is a planner that I would be willing to destash. Obviously, in terms of the dates, it's like it currently is probably in midway through this year. Yeah, so it is in 2022, so it's midway through this year. But if you would be interested in having this so that you can try out the Mom Agenda spreads, please feel free to message me on Instagram. Obviously you would probably need to do a lot of redating if you did want to keep it, but I would be more than happy to send it to you for you to have a go at it, because like, and just like cover the cost of postage, because I actually think this planner has a really good place for some people. It just wasn't right for me at that time, but I think this planner would have a lot to offer somebody. The other thing I should say is that a standard vertical kit wouldn't fit in here, so that is just something to bear in mind. But yes, if you would be interested in this, please feel free to message me. Next up, we get into a couple of EC planners. So this is an EC horizontal, what is the word that they use? It's not called functional, I don't think, but they have two ranges of EC. So they have like a colourful the focused planner. So this is the focused horizontal, and I used this for a few months earlier on this year. The reason that I went back to this is, if you haven't been around my channel for the last few years, I had a horizontal planner which I used for my functional / memory planner in 2017, 2018 and half of 2019, all of 2019, and I loved my horizontal. I loved it so much, but I switched to vertical planning because peer pressure, because everyone else had switched from horizontal by then, but also sticker kits were not being made for horizontal size planners anymore, and so it was much easier to switch to a vertical planner because cutting the stickers down was annoying. And then I suddenly decided after I dropped the passion planner that maybe I would want to go back to horizontal. Maybe that's what I was missing in my life. I did absolutely love being in a horizontal planner. I would have bought a Tilly Journals one because Tilly's are sized for full boxes, so you don't have to cut them down. So a huge benefit if you want to try a horizontal format would be shopping from Tilly. But I was shopping at the wrong time of year to get a planner from her. Tilly's planners are all handmade, which is why we love them, but it meant that it just wasn't the right time for me to be asking Tilly for a planner. I needed something more immediate so that I could make a decision about whether it was right for me. I used this planner for a few weeks. I'm going to let myself off here in that I've noticed, kind of going through my spreads, I can't show you any because of work stuff, but I did notice that on one of the like most recent spread is when one of our best friends passed away. And so this year has been weird, and that is obviously a big part of it. And so I'm gonna kind of let myself off in that a lot has you know, life's been affected since that. So that's part of it, I think, as to why I dropped this. Also, again, I don't need both planners, and when I had the horizontal before, it was my only planner. So I would set up the week in advance, I would go through and write my pre-plans, and then I would fill it in with memory plans. And using 2 planners with this many stickers is just too much for me. I love the format of the function of a horizontal planner in that you have a really cute to-do list every day and stuff like that, but I just couldn't make it work for me. Also, I'd forgotten how annoying I found the trimming of stickers, and so if I just hadn't got round to setting up my spread, then I was behind. So yeah, unfortunately, I dropped this one. It's one that makes me really sad, again, because I love the horizontal format, and it is something where, again, maybe I could be tempted to go back. I don't think that I would sell this one because this is also undated, so it would be really easy for me to go back and use it and just kind of rip out what I've used so far. I loved the spreads that I did in here. I wish I could show you, but one thing that did annoy me in here is I was very much trying to commit to this, and so I did use some kits when, like, after I'd used them and then dropped the planner, I was like, I've just used a kit that I've been saving for ages. Thankfully, they were all planner face because there was no way I was going to be trying to trim an SPC kit to go in here. And Anna really kindly reprinted some of the boxes for me so that I could use those spreads again in my memory planner. So I'm eternally grateful to Anna for doing that. But yeah, unfortunately, as much as I wanted this one to work for me, it just didn't. I'm really sad about it because I'm looking at it and thinking they all look really cute, but you know, it just didn't work for me at that time. Next up, we have the Easy Teacher Planner, and I'm hoping that it will be useful for me to show it up to you while showing my face, because I watched Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plans in particular talk about this planner for years before I bought one, and I never had any concept that this planner was bigger than my face. Like, I'd watched so many videos, I'd watched other people review it, and I had no idea it was this big. It is huge. This planner is absolutely huge. But the reason I wanted to get this is I'm not a teacher, but I do work in education, and a lot of the time when I drop a functional planner, it's because I don't particularly use it on Saturday and Sunday. And so I thought, well, if I'm using it particularly as a work planner, just Monday to Friday works for me. I think that having a work planner doesn't work, like a work specific planner doesn't work for me, because my life is run by my Outlook calendar at work. All of my to-do list is in there, every single meeting. Stuff moves around all the time. It's the nature of the team I manage and the type of work I do. And it was too much to have that written down. I didn't need it reflected in a written planner. And then I wasn't even using it for Saturday and Sunday and marking down what to clean and stuff like that. So it just didn't work for me. Also, you know, the spreads are just huge. Like, if I show you this, and again, what I was doing with this, similar to the mom agenda, was I would having like each of my team members or different projects I worked on kind of going down, and then I would write stuff in it. I love the concept of this planner so much. I love the visuals of it. I love the it's so different to any other planner that I've seen, and I think if this is the right thing for you, it must be perfect. I love the idea of it. I love watching Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plans using this planner. I love it so much. But unfortunately, it's just too much for me. Maybe if I was a teacher, I would find this useful, but it's just unfortunately too much for me. So this is another one where I did try to sell it for a while, but no one was interested. But if you have been thinking about trying out the teacher planner, then do feel free to message me on Instagram. This one would be quite expensive to post because it's so big and I would have to figure out how I'm going to do that. But if you would be interested, please let me know. And for the cost of postage, I'd be happy to send it to you. I also wouldn't be including the cover because I have very much made it Peace Love Plan focused. So there is that to bear in mind as well. It's also for the academic year that has just finished. So you would have to redate the entire thing. I also, is it missing some? No, I think it was just missing August. So yeah, it starts from September. So from a UK point of view, that's when the academic year starts. So if you would find this useful, please let me know. I would just be looking for the cost of postage and I can let you know what that is. But yeah, I wish this had worked for me, but it hadn't. But please do bear in mind that it won't have the cover if I sell it to you. So next up we have an EC vertical, but this one I actually use differently to how I use my Tilly Journals memory planner. And this one I did with checklists on every day. So I was inspired to do this by Lauren Plans, who's on a YouTube break. And Lauren Plans had two planners. She had a memory planner, which she was doing kind of what we think of typically with memory planning spreads. And then she was also doing the spreads like this, which I can show you, which had a checklist on each day. And I actually did this for 6 months, okay, which for me is pretty good. I did this in the second half of 2020. And so to be able to keep up with functional spreads and memory spreads during the pandemic year, I think it's pretty impressive. I did it from like July, August, of course, to New Year. So I really did actually keep up with this one. I did some plan with me's for this one on my channel because it was when I started my YouTube channel. So I think with this one, I did a pretty good job, to be honest. The reason I dropped it is, again, it was just too many sticker spreads to do. And also I was finding that I didn't necessarily need to have the to-do list on every day in the same sort of layout. But I do think these look really cute. And I feel a little bit less annoyed with how many sticker kits I used during this period because there is 6 months of content in here. So it's pretty good going in terms of the amount that I would have to look through. You know, there is 6 months of spreads for me to flick through. There's a lot for me to look at. But yeah, so I feel less sad about this one, but this is just another example of a planner that I tried and dropped. So the last two are goals planners. So the first one is Moxie Life. So I got my Moxie in 2021, I guess. And I was so desperate to get a Moxie planner. There's a picture when this arrived of me like this that my boyfriend took of me when I opened it. I was so excited to get this planner. There was so much hype around the Moxie Life and just like my whole existence revolved around the Moxie Life planner. So I was so excited to get this. I used it for 2 or 3 months maybe before dropping it. The reason that I really wanted to get this is I felt like I had really lost my way. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this would have been 2021. And we were all going through a rough time because of COVID, and I wanted to set myself some goals and give myself some more things to work towards. I really struggle with goal planning, and so I wanted to try goal planning, and I really love the Moxie Life system. I think the compass assessment that you do to assess the different areas of your life, the way you break down your goals is super interesting. I think goal planning doesn't work for me in that level. Probably because I can't really commit to anything, so that's the first thing. But also I know what my goals are, and some of them I'm not in control in, and I find that really frustrating. But also I don't think I need to put that much investment into the goals that I want to achieve. There are some, particularly fitness and health goals, but so much of that is stopped by really hot weather or being unwell. And so I'm not in a position where I'm able to commit to goal planning right now. So that is partly why it didn't work for me. But also the Moxie Planner, there's just a lot to it. So you have your monthly goals. So you set yearly goals, you set monthly goals, and then you break it down by weekly actions. Really like that idea. But then there is also the weekly spreads, and it just was too much for me to be fitting in kind of doing weekly actions and putting it in weekly spreads. I know that people have adapted the Moxie Life system to work in really different ways. And if I was ever going to go back to goal planning, I think that there's definitely elements of the Moxie Life I would go back to. It just didn't work for me. Also, this is not my favorite planner. So the covers are hard covers, which is really different. I have no other planner that has a hard cover like that. It makes it really heavy. The coil is huge and it's a wire O coil and I don't like them. I know that Moxie have addressed this with some of their planners. They now don't have them all on the wire O. So that is definitely something to look at if you're interested in the Moxie. But it just is not that secure. It wobbles around a lot and the wire O just is not for me. In terms of what the spreads look like, this is what they look like. And so there's just a lot of space to fill. And then you have a habit tracker as well. Again, I think this planner absolutely, I can't close it, absolutely has a place for a lot of people. It's just it wasn't right for me in this season of life. Even though this is a 2021 planner, again, if you would like this so that you can try it out, all I would ask for is the cost of shipping. So again, feel free to message me on Instagram. I have meant to do this like a year ago to get rid of some of these, so I'm really sorry that some of them are completely the wrong year. But if you would be interested in having this so you can try the Moxie out before they release them for next year, then please do let me know. The last planner, I think I've probably missed one, but I've been talking for ages, so we'll make this the last one, is the Cultivate What Matters Goal Planning Power Sheets. So I picked these up midway through last year, so I dropped the Moxie Life and decided to go for the Cultivate What Matters. I was interested in going for these, A, because I'm just obsessed with this cover. It's like one of the prettiest planners ever. But also the idea of Cultivate What Matters, they were doing like a 6-month refresh. And so I thought that would be good for me because I had dropped my Moxie Life. So I thought that would be a good option. But also this doesn't have weekly spreads. It has monthly spreads. And I thought that maybe a monthly overview could be good for me. And I liked the way that you went through and did the goals. So you would sort of pick a goal and then break down the actions that you needed to take specifically to meet that at that time, rather than doing it weekly, monthly, daily, etc. So I thought that maybe it didn't need as much work for me. I'm not sure if there's any examples of it in here, to be honest, because I think I've rip them all out, but they have a page which has a sort of, you write down your goals and you shade in how far through you are with each goal. And I thought that it was just a bit less involved than the Moxie Life. They're very similar, but I thought the amount of pages you had to complete was less than the Moxie Life, so I thought it would be good for me. I used this for a few months and it did work for me in terms of a snapshot of stuff I needed to get done that month, but I was probably using it more as a to-do list than as a goal setting system. So I think that was probably ultimately why I dropped it. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that was probably why. But I do like the idea of it. The other issue is that, so Plan with Lakin is the biggest YouTuber I know that does this power sheet system. And she was doing a flip through of the planner for 2022 and they had taken away I think it's like the quarterly goals or something like that, which was something I'd particularly liked, and they'd taken that away and that had annoyed me. So I think that's also partly why I decided to drop the system, because I thought, well, it's not going to work for me if they've changed the sort of one thing that I wanted. And also because I haven't really been doing any goal planning for this year. So that's it. I hope this video has been useful or interesting. I don't know, but I've been promising I would do it for ages, so I really hope that some people have found it interesting. As I say, there are some of these planners, not all, but some of them that I am happy to send to you just for the cost of postage if you would like to try them out before next year. If some people can benefit off the back of this video, then that would be great. So yeah, please do feel free to message me for the ones where I've said that I would be willing to just send them for the cost of postage. So please feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I do hope that you have found this interesting. I promised that I would talk about sort of why I've now switched to digital planning. So I've tried a couple of different digital planning options. I tried Notion, which I tried for a few months, but I like Notion for long-term collections and I have a really good packing list on Notion. So that element of Notion I really love, but there are some things about Notion in terms of like needing to sort of check in with it. It doesn't have reminders built into it that meant that sort of daily, weekly and monthly planning didn't work for me on Notion. So for work, I'm using my Outlook calendar, which I've always used. And for personal planning, I now use Google. So I use a Google calendar, which I have shared with my boyfriend, and all of our joint plans go in there. It has hugely helped. A lot of my issue with these paper planners is that if you don't carry them around, and my mum would be like, I need you to write down these plans. And I'd be like, where am I going to write them? I don't have the planner with me, or I don't have the pen, or, you know, I'm not carrying the bag that's big enough to have the planner in it today. And that got really irritating. So it was good to switch to Google Calendar, because now if someone says to me, can you put these plans in? I can just do it on my phone. It will automatically update in Stuart's calendar. So Google Calendar has been an absolute lifesaver for us, and I know a lot of people use Google Calendar and a paper planner, and I kind of do that with the Hobonichi at the moment, but yeah, I can absolutely see why that works. But in terms of, I don't want to duplicate information, because if I duplicate information, something's going to get forgotten. I've been there before. So Google Calendar is, I think, the best option for me and Stuart going forward. He was finding paper planning really not frustrating, because he's not someone that really gets frustrated, but he was finding it difficult to sort of know what plans were if I wasn't putting them in the Google Calendar. So it has made our life kind of much more synchronized in that sense. So that definitely helps. In terms of to-dos, I actually have those on my phone, just in the like Apple to-do list app, and I had been doing that before, but I do that more consistently now, and I'm more likely to do something if it's popping up on my phone screen. So again, that has worked pretty well. So urgent to-do list items go into my phone. And that is what's working for me. I still love paper planning. I wish I could make a paper system work for me. I follow so many YouTubers and Instagrammers that use paper functional planning systems that are life-changing for them, and it just isn't for me. So for now, digital planning is the way forward. I've also considered other digital planning options like GoodNotes planners and PDF planners and stuff. Again, the lack of reminders and things like that, the lack of it updating Stuart at the same time, makes the other systems that I'm currently using more effective. So, end of the video. I hope that was helpful or useful or something. I really hope that, you know, if it helps one person, then this video did its job. If you did enjoy this video, I would massively appreciate a like. If you haven't already, I would love it if you've subscribed to my channel. And also just a reminder that I have started a book channel as well. So if you like book content, I will be linking to that channel down below, and I would love it if you would join it. It's a very small community over there because I've just started my channel, but I'm really loving producing book content. So if you would like to join me, I would love to have you. But otherwise, everything else will be linked down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.